Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Turner, and I am doing research on whether or not school uniforms directly impact the behaviors in academics in urban elementary schools. So according to the U.S. Department of Education, wearing a uniform will decrease the risk of crime and theft and instill discipline and help school officials recognize intruders. So the point of school uniforms for a lot of places is to make it a safer environment. I am looking into whether or not that is true. So the first part of my research process has been trying to find data on schools who have already implemented a school uniform policy to see if their behaviors have changed, if it's gotten better. So one of the first schools that I found was the Long Beach Unified School District. They were the first public school district to instill a school uniform policy in 1994. So all the kids from kindergarten to 8th grade had to wear a uniform. They made it mandatory, and they reported a dramatic decrease in violence and crime going on in the schools. And they said after the first year that school crime had dropped by 36%, and physical fights between students had dropped 51%. So that school had seen a great difference just by the school uniform, such a great difference that even Bill Clinton had recognized the school. And so when you look at those kind of numbers, it's like, why isn't any urban school and every urban school putting this policy in? So then there's other data where, they're not getting those same results, or their numbers are skewed, or, they're not looking at as great of a population. And so there's other studies where I'm trying to find whether or not it actually impacts academics. So a couple of the studies have been using different types of information and numbers to standardized tests. A guy named Young was using the longitudinal ECLS case study. So they found this school that starting in kindergarten, they were checking up with these students to see how they progress with school uniforms. And overall, when they were getting older, they showed that there was not a lot of change and not a lot of impact were made by these school uniforms. So then there's other studies that are comparing public schools that are wearing school uniforms and Catholic schools, and the numbers of the public schools was supposedly increasing once they had school uniforms implemented. But my question is, how come these public schools are being affected by school uniforms, but these Catholic schools aren't? So are these numbers biased? Are they doing research with a good enough population? I'm curious as to how public schools are getting such a difference, but private schools aren't when they've been wearing uniforms for so long. A big reason why a lot of schools will change into putting school uniforms is that they believe it makes it a safer environment. They believe that, it adds more discipline. Everyone's on the same plane. Everybody, you're not worried about clothing, so you're supposed to be focusing more on school because you're not comparing yourself to the next person. And I'm trying to look into whether or not that school uniform is making that difference. Another part that I want to achieve is I want to ask teachers of urban elementary school kids whether or not they think that their school should put school uniform policies in place, and whether or not they think that it makes a difference, whether or not they think that it will help, if it won't help, if it'll make no difference. I just want to know what they think because they're in the classroom. Do they think that a school uniform is something that would really affect academics so much? there was another study that I found interesting that looked at 4 different variables. They looked at attendance, behavior, academic, and substance use. So they were trying to see if school uniforms were affecting these. And when I was reviewing the information, it found out that the students who were not uniformed were scoring a lot lower than the kids who were uniformed. So I'm also wondering, does this have anything to do with the intelligence of the kids? Does it have anything to do with the area? Does it have anything to do with the fact that these private schools are having tuitions paid? So I feel like there's a lot more things that go into academics and behavior, not just school uniforms. So I'm still working on, finding that information, but at this point, I'm not finding any research or consistent research that is giving a conclusion on whether or not it's helping. So hopefully maybe more things will come up. Maybe this summer I'll be able to find some more. Some of the problems that I've been having is it's been stressful. I'm sure other elementary school teachers that are in this class are dealing with the same thing. Is the STARS test is coming up, and I'm dealing with a group of adaptive behavior special ed kids, so I'm trying to get them prepared, which is not easy, so it has been super stressful. The closer STARS testing gets, the more I feel that they're freaking out, and we're all just ready for it to be over. So I wish everyone the best of luck, and I will talk to you guys during our summer course.